Now, let's talk about how this program is managed and how one becomes a victim. First, let's look at the FBI and what they consider to be a potential domestic terrorist. Here I have a list of 72 behaviors and characteristics the FBI searches for when determining if one is a homeland threat. Included on this list are those that are anti-abortion, those that are anti-nuclear, and simply those that want to make the world a better place. Now, upon closer study and looking at this list, one can conclude that any one or more than one of these behaviors can pertain to anyone in the United States. In other words, this list has been cleverly designed to include anyone and everyone. Anyone could be labeled a homeland threat. Now, fusion centers is where information is compared and processed that is harvested from emails, from phone conversations, from medical records, and from purchase histories. The CIA, DHS, and FBI compare, dissect, and fuse this information at these fusion centers. The real problem, however, lies in the ease of manipulation. This is where the problem originates, and the abuse of the agenda for the search for homeland threats is exploited. This article I have here from the Examiner dates back to September 2011. It's one of the better articles I've read describing this injustice. I'd like to share a few key points with you. Number one, FBI documents obtained by human rights groups show 8,000 American targeted individuals are being secretly persecuted because their names are on a strictly confidential government watch list. Now, this article dates back to 2011. I think 100,000 is probably a more realistic number. Number two, this document includes a notice issued December 21st, 2010 to field officers from counterterrorism that states in capital letters, do not advise the subject that they may be on a terrorist watch list. Number three, ever made someone angry? A person who agrees with the American way of revenge, such as calling your name into the local fusion center? Ever jilted a lover? According to those protecting the fatherland, these situations are sufficient enough to be targeted and kept on a watch list no matter what. And number four, and the most disturbing, it only takes 2 people to report a target. 2 people. Herein lies the problem. You take the 72 characteristics that the FBI is searching for when determining if one is a homeland threat, and combine that with a 2-person witness account that one is a homeland threat, and you are now set up for one of the biggest abuses of power in the history of the world. And when you are deemed a homeland threat, you will experience the most bizarre transition in life you could ever imagine. There is no due process and there is no day in court. Your harassment is relentless. Now, let's look at some of these perpetrators out in the street that are committing these crimes, and one of the tools they like to use, street theater. If you would, take a look at this next video clip.
What I'm going to demonstrate here are 2 different versions of street theater. This first version is a brief conversation of someone on a cell phone. Now, this street theater can be done with a cell phone, as this perpetrator is doing. When this perpetrator arrived, he sat on the opposite end of this coffee house until the table in front of me vacated. As soon as it vacated, he relocated quickly from his table to the table you see him at now, and immediately pulled out his cell phone. Now first, notice his escalated voice. This is used for hooking your attention. Once he has hooked your attention, he will next use catchphrases as these stalkers want their presence known. And these catchphrases could include anything that pertains to you, family names, bank account numbers, where you work. Let's listen for a minute.
Oh yeah, I mean, he'll be fine. I mean, the thing that it is, the thing that it is like, this happened once with John Gibbs, and that seemed to work pretty well. And I want to make you think that we, we're the character. Right. Yeah, well, I'll handle it, but I just want to Yeah, just so you know, what I've been doing too. I mean, I think I'm making progress with some of your accounts, and my goal is to have, between now and the end of the quarter, somewhere between 9 to 10 of total appointments set up for you. So that's why, I mean, like I said, I feel like I'm making headway with them. I've got some good contacts going, so just be patient. We'll get them done. Listen, have a good weekend. I'll talk to you on Monday. Terrific. Thanks. All right, you bet.
Speaking awfully loud for a private business conversation, isn't he? I hid the camera from his sight so he wouldn't deviate from his catchphrases. Now, let's take a look at the perpetrator in this next video clip.